everyone, this is Miss Janelle from the Ella Johnson Library, and today for Little Stitches we are doing a Baby Yoda embroidery. Now, from the library you can pick up a kit while supplies last, and in that kit is going to be an embroidery hoop, a easy to thread needle, some canvas, and embroidery floss. You may need additional floss if you want to do more detail work in your embroidery. We gave you the basic colors for the Baby Yoda, but if you want to add more, you can totally do that too. You will also have a pre-printed template, but you will also need a pencil and a pair of scissors for this as well. Now, before you get started, you're going to want to cut your Baby Yoda template into a circle to fit this embroidery hoop. What you're going to do before you start sewing is you want to transfer the design. So what I do is I cut my design, place it on the back, and you can go to a window or you can put a cell phone underneath with a flashlight on, which works as a really great light box, and you're going to use your pencil and trace your Baby Yoda design. So you can see I did that already. Traced my Baby Yoda on here. The pencil will be covered up, and if you see any, you can wash it away after you're done with embroidery. Generally, you want to wash it in soapy water, so make sure to do that. Now, I've already started, and what we're going to do is we're going to do a basic back stitch, French knots, and running stitches for this. So these are really easy beginner stitches that you can do for your Baby Yoda. Now, we have in our kit these really fun, easy to thread needles. They have a little slit in the side, so you don't have to go through the hole. Instead, you run your thread against it and it stitches perfectly. So, what I'm going to do, and I've already separated my floss a little bit. It comes 6 strands. You're going to want less than 6 strands for most of it. I did all 6 strands for the Baby Yoda jacket. It just creates a really thick stitches, and sometimes that's not the look you're going for. All right. So, I'm going to make sure all of my thread is on the needle. Sometimes it's a little hard to see on the camera here. There we go. So we just looped it through there. Now with embroidery, you don't have to do a whole lot of tying like you would with normal sewing. So don't have to worry too much about that. So the first thing we're going to do is do a French knot. This is the most difficult one, so I like to get it out of the way. We're doing the French knot for the tufted area of Baby Yoda's jacket, so that nice warm fuzzy section that goes against his little baby chin. So what you're going to do, you have your thread on there. You're going to go from the bottom, pull that through, and you want to keep it taut. I'm going to grab the back here. Now, using your other hand, your non-dominant hand, that's my left hand, you're going to pull it to the side, and then we're going to sneak our needle through so that it looks like that. And then we're going to wind the needle a few times, like so. All right, so let's do that one more time. I'll just show you that again. Sometimes it's hard to catch it the first try. So, up through, pull that thread, make sure you get it on the back here, pull it to the side, go underneath, like so. There we go. Now it's time to push it back through. So without dropping the stitches, you're going to push it back into the fabric, still holding onto this tightly because we want our knot to be tight and not loose. and you're going to pull. And it's going to be like magic. Alright, so that is the French knot. So you're going to do that all the way across the top of the Baby Yoda. So we're just going to switch colors here. And I am going to pull out the green so that we can do a running stitch. And then I'll show you how to do back stitch. And then you are on your own to complete your Baby Yoda. So this I have 3 threads for. Knot in the end here, so I don't pull it through too much while I'm doing this. The running stitch is easy, but very easy to get tangled. And we do not want to tangle. Alright, so a running stitch here is just that. It just keeps going, running along the lines. And you want to put them nice and close together so that it looks almost seamless. So I started in the tip corner of his ear and I went on a diagonal. So we're going to do that to the other side of his ear as well. So I'm going to try to meet the first stitch here. You can see I'll go a little bit lower than that. There we go. So we're going to pull it over all the way through. It's a long one. Now we're going to find the tip of his ear. Alright, so there's our first stitch. And we're going to go back to where we were. And we're just going to keep going. We got all the way to here before we ran out of thread, but you can see that the running stitch goes all the way around. Now when you get to this part, you're going to want to do a longer running stitch like this, which is why we want to make sure that we separate the thread. So this is 6 strands together and this is 3. And you can see that the thickness does kind of play a part in how it's going to look and how it's going to sit on the embroidery. You can do 1 thread, you can do 2, but I would avoid doing this all 6 stitches just because it is very thick and difficult. And I did it on here just to show you that it does create kind of this nice, thick, very three-dimensional look when you do all of the stitches. But you can also achieve that with, you know, smaller amounts of thread if you kind of loop and group them together. So we're going to do the running stitch for pretty much all of Baby Yoda. I want to show you the back stitch because what I like to do sometimes is to outline the colors so I can get an idea of how it's going to look together. So this is a running stitch, and that is really simple. We've done a running back stitch before on one of our previous embroidery projects. You can go back to that video and take a look at that as well. There's some other tips and techniques that you can learn from that video too. So what I'm going to do is do a running back stitch along the top of the kind of tufted area so you can see what it looks like. You don't have to do it. Or if you want to do the running back stitch instead of just a regular running stitch for the clothing, you can do that too. It's totally up to you. I'm just showing you how it's going to look and some basic stitches so that you can put your Baby Yoda together however you want. This is your project, make it look great. Another cool thing that you can do is if you don't want to do dark brown for the eyes, if you want it to be black, if you want to add some of the wrinkle details that are in the picture here, you can get some different colored floss to do that, or you could do something kind of multimedia and you can use regular sewing thread, you can use paint. If you have sequins or beads, that might be cool to add too. However you want to make your Baby Yoda look. So I'm going to thread up my needle and show you really quickly what a running back stitch is. Running back stitch here, and it's just to kind of make an outline. You can do that for the entire thing if you don't want to do the French knots. You can do a running back stitch kind of in a circular pattern following along. That would look pretty neat too. But yeah, so that's the running stitch, running back stitch, and French knots for your Baby Yoda embroidery. Send us a picture of what you created and stop into the library because we have so many more activities coming up for the summer. We have outdoor story times, we have way more art explorers, way more little stitches, we have all of these cool gardening programs. There's going to be so much for you to do, and there's going to be way more kits. So make sure you stop in, come see us, come say hi, show us your projects. We love to see what you're working on, and I can't wait to see you at the library. Have a good day.